Hi, welcome to this week's reading. We're going to talk about spring overall. This is a three-part reading. The first part is going to be the energy that's coming in this spring. The next part is the energy that you're letting go of this spring. And the third part is how to make the most of the energy of the season overall. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, part one. Let's talk about the energy that's coming in for you this season. Oh, okay. We've got cleansing energy coming in, some fate taking root, and some passing of grief. Wow, okay. Things are moving. Energy is moving here. I'm gonna actually move these out of the way so we have more room. And I'm kind of just pulling from these decks intuitively as to what feels right. So the energy that's coming in is really this energy of it feels like a reset of all these things kind of taking shape and coming in. Maybe you've been 55 on the clock as I say this. Maybe you've been working through some major energy and now this new cleansing, healing energy is coming in. Magic. Yes. And this is about, Medea was able, look at that, 55. That's the second 55. Medea was all about putting in this hard work, but her conjuring being able to create real, like systemic change in her life and environment for other people. So this is a major shift. Parts of the unresolved past are ready to go, as well as things that you felt fearful about. And when we own our fear, when we own our past, it no longer has as much power over us. And in the description from the deck, these two cards essentially say that when we acknowledge what it is, when we own it, when we hold that energy, it doesn't have power over us anymore. So there's a sense of ownership and cleansing of this some kind of old fear that had taken root. I think you've been working through this for a really long time, and you're making the decision to get grounded and to allow your nervous system to rest. And this cleansing, restful energy is going to be really, really helpful for you. It's going to be very powerful. You just have to believe in your ability to do it. We have let your personality shine. You have something no one else has, and that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. Yeah, I wonder if you've been trying to work through this energy that you've been processing in a way that makes sense to other people, and you're going to start working through it in the way that makes sense for you. We're disengaging from outcomes. We're letting go so we can open ourselves to the highest love that we deserve. We find ways to release worry or unresolved lack of forgiveness. So it's like this wave of cleansing energy coming through and clearing all of this out. And then we have leaping through the air. A plan you've made is on track. If you're waiting for something, get to work and stop putting off ideas or projects you're considering. It's like you've been building up this energy so that you can now use it and make use of all this energy you've been storing. I see this coming in like spurts of action, and there's this balance of rest and action. And as someone with ADHD, that tends to be how I work anyway. So I might have a day where I do like a week's worth of work and then I completely rest the next day, and that's okay. That pace works for me, and I don't have to do things the way that other people do them. I can be in my feminine energy of receivership, of empathy, of creation, of intuition, and of being. This process leads to deeper acceptance and self-love, especially for the parts of ourselves that we're maybe critical of, the parts of ourselves that are guarded. We can advocate but not be stuck in the identity that this is attached to. Again, here we have the nest, which is very similar to the rest card. This is solitude, this is retreat, this is safety, this is security, but it's connection with something bigger than yourself and no longer limiting yourself to this old identity, to this old way of being. Recognizing where maybe you have weak boundaries about how you do things and maybe giving that part of you too much benefit of the doubt. So to summarize, this spring, the energy coming in is like this wave of cleansing energy that's going to shift how you approach things, how you do things. It's going to allow you to both rest and actively let go of an old identity, to do things the way that works for you, regardless of what anyone else thinks about it. To disengage from outcomes of the way you think it should happen and trusting that everything's moving the way that it's supposed to. Making sure you're taking time to rest so that you can feel connected to everything. And by letting go of your fear and letting go of your unresolved past, moving into deeper self-love and acceptance. This is some pretty cool energy coming in for the spring. Now let's look at the energy we're letting go of. All right, what are we letting go of? We're letting go of distrust, of attachment, and to grasping at the way things have been. Maybe letting go of some repressed trauma and the ways we're not letting old identities be dissolved. Maybe ways that we engage in escapism. And we're letting go of transactional and conditional relationships with other people and with ourselves. Letting go of the part of ourselves that doesn't love us unconditionally. This is interesting. We got the same cards, but they feel different. In this case, it's like letting go of the way we think fate will take root. Letting go of our attachment to the how and trusting that it will be. It feels different. There's attachment here, attachment to how we think everything should go, and we're letting go of that. We're taking time to heal ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to meet ourselves with kindness and nurturing, and to be open to receive. So this has a lot to do with letting go of the parts of ourselves that prevent us from loving ourselves unconditionally, from healing and forgiving and nurturing ourselves. Letting go of this, I almost feel like this attachment to the way things should happen leads us to self-neglect. And that's not, we're letting go of that. We're not constantly trying to find the answer in the 3D, but trusting that our inner magician knows how to find what it is we need and that all the answers are already inside of us. This looks like stepping into sovereignty and stability, trusting that we're guided, that we're guarded, that we're protected, that we're loved, and also being our own guardians, recognizing that we can be our guardians and not our captors. Often, when we are held captive, we are the ones, 2:22 on the clock. We are, oh no. Often, when we're held captive, we are the ones that tied ourselves there. So being aware of the ways in which we are our own captors and having good boundaries, but not isolating ourselves in the name of self-preservation. This looks like paying attention to our dreams and paying attention to our choices. Polite declaration. You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It's time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. So we're letting go of the part of ourselves, again, that is grasping to the way things should be. But just like we were talking about the energy coming in, they play off of each other. There's this energy of doing it your way. And also knowing that you're collaborating with the universe and the outcome might not happen the way that you want it, but that doesn't mean you won't get what you want. because you are surrounded by prosperity. Your attention is being drawn to the infinite nature of reality. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. I absolutely adore this card. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. You don't need to know the how. You just need to believe that you'll get what you need. And get back on task. Be sure you're using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you're working on. All could use some fine tuning. So just paying attention to your choices, to the ways you're moving, to the ways you're holding yourself captive, looking at your boundaries, looking at how you claim your sovereignty, claim your knowledge and your stability, but also looking at how you treat yourself and how you treat the way that you move through the world. Do you trust yourself? Do you love yourself unconditionally? Do you try to control the way that fate works? Because that's just not how fate works, right? The Norse believe that while fate controls things, our will and energy can change fate. But ultimately, fate is fate, right? You don't need to know the how to know that you'll get there. So let go of your grasping attachment and distrust of the how. Trust that you can do it the way you need to do it, that you're surrounded by prosperity, and then start working toward it in the best way you know how. And this involves forgiving yourself, nurturing yourself, healing yourself, and loving yourself unconditionally. So that's the energy we're leaving behind. Let's look at how to make the most of the collective energy of spring as we move forward. Okay, so you know what you're going to leave behind, you know what's coming in, but how can you make the most of the collective energy of spring? Be brave and know that you don't have to do it alone. And this means both people materially in your world and also your guides, your gods, your angels, your ancestors, all of the benevolent beings that walk with you on your journey. And trust that you have enough, that you have everything that you need. So be brave and know that you're not alone and know that you'll get what you need. That's how you make the most of the energy of this season. I'm so curious. I'm going to shuffle this deck. So curious to see what cards we get here after getting the same one in the first two. Same two in the first two. Sea change. Things are changing direction. The tides are turning. We're beginning a new cycle, beginning something that I can't help but feel like this is something you've been working toward for a really long time, and the tides are turning in that direction, and it's time to begin your new version of forever. And that involves escaping the old way that things have been. Trust that you'll get out of this pattern, this cycle you've been in. Right under Brave Spirit, we have facing our fears, being open-minded, being honest, finding balance, aligning our inner and outer worlds. Knowing that we don't have all of the information yet, and that's okay. We don't need to know it. You don't need to know the fullness of your purpose to pursue it, and a little mystery is a good thing. Yeah, we have missing details and information. We have naive. There's just information you don't have, you don't know. And by understanding that you don't know, that's a great place to begin. You don't need to be consumed by self-doubt because you don't have enough information to know whether you're doing well or not. So you just have to trust and be brave and trust that you're guided, that people are with you, that there's always enough. But getting stuck in your self-doubt is going to burn you out. So romanticize this situation. Be dreamy about it. Engage with the romance of the flowers blooming and of things changing. There's so much pink here. I love it. Yes. Nurture yourself. Take time for retreat. Again, we've had the nest twice. We've had rest. We've had retreat. Take time to rest and take care of yourself and truly take care of yourself, not dissociating. I know that I am Pay attention to where you might be capturing yourself in your loss. There's grief of this change happening, right? Even if you're ready to leave the cycle, you're still losing the way things have been. But you don't need to be held captive by the way things have been. So feel that grief and trust that what waits on the other side is much better. This unity, landing here by union, and cycles. You're coming together after a very long cycle. You are coming together after something that's been shifting for a long time. Let yourself be water here. When things are hard, when you feel like you're stuck, let yourself be water. Knowing that you don't know is a good thing. It's a beginner's mind. Look beyond the surface. Avoid becoming distracted by surface issues. Focus on the underlying motivation, cause, or beauty in a situation. Seek ways to bring depth to your world. I think that things are going to be happening in your material world that it might be frustrating a little bit, that you've been doing all this work and you can feel things changing, but it seems like your physical circumstances aren't changing. They're going to. Very soon, your external circumstances will mirror your inner world. So look beyond the material right now. Unexplained wonder. Magical blessings are occurring in your life. All your prayers are being answered. You just have to trust that just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't happening. Don't be held captive by your fear here. Replace what was lost. You now have the opportunity to rejuvenate and start anew. Create with a new perspective or outlook. This may also indicate that abundance is on the horizon. You're in the final stretch here. Continue to be brave. Continue to face your fears. Allow the tides to change. Allow yourself to be water. Make sure you're taking time for rest, and don't hold yourself captive in your grief, in your loss. Unify your inner and outer worlds, even if it doesn't seem like it's reflecting it yet. This is just a transition. This is a cycle, and you're coming into wonder and abundance. Trust, believe, be brave, know that you're not alone, and know that you'll have everything that you need. You've got this. I'm so proud of you. 555 on the clock. Let's end it there. Thank you so much for joining me today. Leave a comment. Tell me how this landed for you, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.